Whatever you do, never acknowledge the presence of a ghost. Storytime. My mother has some rather strong and often irrational religious beliefs. And while I don't share the same view of the world as her, there is one important piece of advice that she taught me. Don't ever acknowledge a ghost. For this to make sense, you'll have to understand that my mother doesn't believe in ghosts. That is to say, she doesn't believe that when we die, we can return as spirits. The dead are dead, she says, and they can't come back to haunt you or communicate in any way. What she does believe is that all ghosts and hauntings are the result of demons. Demons are real, and they will attach themselves to you if you aren't careful. So while she may use the term ghost, what she is actually referring to is something much more frightening. When I was a child, I was never allowed to buy anything secondhand. No garage sales or thrift store visits. This is because, as I previously stated, my mother believes in demons. I wasn't ever allowed to bring home any used item for the fear that it might have something evil attached to it. At first, I thought my mother was insane. I remember the time that my sister bought a small bag of clothes from a neighbor. My mother immediately made my sister throw it all in the trash. My sister cried. We rarely got an allowance, and what we did get wasn't much, $1 a week, only in the summer. My sister had spent every dime that she had on those clothes, but that didn't mean a thing to Mama. Another rule my mother had was that we weren't allowed to ever touch or play with an Ouija board. At first I thought she said witchy board, and the sound of that was not at all appealing, especially after hearing all of my mother's terrifying stories of what could happen if you played with one. Stories of demonic possession and horrid displays of unearthly powers. After listening to my mother, there was no way I was ever going to touch one. I even held my breath and ran past the ones on display in our mall's toy store. The last rule was,